Network. Welcome back to Everything All the Time.
Yeah, sorry.
Everything All the Time. I'm Pat O'Brien. That's Court McConnell. Argus Hamilton is a friend of both of ours,
Love
and
that guy.
he's great.
He's great.
And
He's
I love
fantastic.
guys who know how to tell stories. And Mary McNamara was great too. So we're
So far, so good.
good night, everybody.
Now, we've talked earlier about Muhammad Ali, and I told an okay story, but you have one of my favorite stories, and that's the story about Ali and the Beatles.
Oh, I knew Ali for about 30 years, so I have all the stories. Most of them. The Beatles on that day in Miami had gone over to see Sonny Liston.
Right.
And they thought they were just starting, so they thought Brian Epstein thought they'd get some publicity by hanging out with Sonny Liston.
Yeah.
Well, Sonny said, "Get these creeps out of here." They had long hair. Nobody really knew who they were.
Right.
And they were just coming up. And so they left Liston's camp, and Brian Epstein said, "Let's go visit this guy, Cassius Clay."
Yeah.
So they go in there, and Clay said, "Who are these guys?" So they get in the ring, and they're messing around. They do all these. Clay would hit McCartney, and then he'd fall against Ringo, and Ringo against George, and they had a lot of great pictures from them. And McCartney told me that during this encounter with Cassius Clay, Clay looked at him and said, "You guys with your long hair and your music and all that stuff, you're not as dumb as you look." And John Lennon looked at Cassius Clay and said, "But you are." But I mean, he had so many, we were talking this morning on the way in by telephone. We don't live together. Seems like we do. I love people who just met him once. I was so used to him. I never took him for granted, but I saw him all the time. And I was with him for his last fight against Trevor Berbick, and we spent the day on the beach. We walked the beach and went back to his condo, and I said, "Champ, I'm going to let you get some rest." And he goes, "No, hang around. So I go through all his magic tricks again, the fake thumb and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd laugh like I always did. And I said, "I got to go." I said, "You need to get." And he said, No, go. Finally, I turned to him and I said, "Champ, are you nervous?" He goes, "Yeah, I am."
Wow.
So this could be it. I'd never heard him lose any confidence.
Did he have a big entourage of people
At
around?
first he did, yeah. At first he had an enormous entourage, all these
The
morons.
Nation of Islam, the people.
Well, no, that wasn't those guys. They cut all those other guys out. But we sat in a bar in New York at the Drake or one of those hotels. And his bar bill was like $10,000 because everybody was signing his name.
See, that's the thing that
Everybody
kills
took advantage of it. But the Nation of Islam cut that off. And then you did Howard Bingham was his photographer, and it was just him and Lonnie, his wife. But
I think one of the things I'm going to treasure the most about him, or one of the great things that'll live on forever and ever, are the great interviews with Howard Cosell.
I
mean, they're both gone, but Howard Cosell and him had this chemistry together and had this relationship.
Made them both. It made ABC, it made Cosell, and it really
turned
Cassius Clay into a media figure.
Because, Howard Cosell was, obviously he was an attorney. He was a very, very smart guy. And the way he conducted his interviews with Ali were just phenomenal. And
it was must-watch television.
And we were laughing about when him and Foreman were on.
They were on with Ali before the Foreman fight, and they started tussling. It was a fake, and they got on the ground. They started wrestling, and Ali, Don Omar tells the story, never got out of his chair. He just sat there, and there's Ali now with a right, and he's just calling the fight. Cosell was hated by everybody, but
why was just
when they wrote his obit, they couldn't find anybody to say anything good about him.
I wish they'd have called me. I loved him.
They called me. I said something nice, and everybody said, "Would you?" But Cassius Clay loved him. He was, you look back, go back on YouTube or something if you don't know really what Cassius Clay and Muhammad Ali was about, because that guy could fight, and the reason why he got hit so much. Never had a scratch on his face.
Nope.
And I said, "How come you don't? Where's your defense?" "I don't need it. It's my style." and he was so fast bouncing his head. But if you watch him, and see you've never seen a fighter like him.
There's nobody that was as fast that had and the strength he had in his
Agile.
punches. But it's sad because
And the
it's another huge icon. And we were talking earlier about how there really aren't that many
Left
of real icons. That are known globally and have done so much for people globally.
Well, there's only 2 Beatles left.
Elvis is gone.
Elvis is gone. Well, we can go. That list is long. The Eagles are gone.
Well,
David Bowie's
but
gone.
I think the Eagles, as great as they were, and I love the Eagles, and I love Glenn Frey.
They were not on the level of Muhammad Ali.
No, or Elvis Presley, or Frank Sinatra, or even you look at these great legends, and I guess legends, icons, whatever you want to say. Jimmy Stewart,
Cary Grant, those guys, but they were not even close to what Muhammad Ali was. I was in Atlanta when he came up to light the torch, and nobody knew who was going to light the torch. It was the biggest kept secret ever.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I was sitting right there, and all of a sudden, here he comes, and he was shaking. And to have Matt Lauer, I'm stealing this from Matt because I saw a documentary the other night, for a guy who made his living on looking good and being this bigger than life
Powerful,
fighter,
yeah.
to go in front of 1 billion people,
right.
and to have that Parkinson's shake and to show that vulnerability, that's a man.
He was a true man. And is there anybody left like that? Is there anybody that you can think of in our day and age?
Now when on our way home, well, we don't live together. When I leave here, I'll think of 5 people. But when you think of worldwide celebrities, there's the Pope always. There's Obama always.
Yeah.
Ali was probably the most famous person in the world.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Absolutely.
Go watch King of Kings. What was the name of the movie? The documentary on him? Yeah, that was
I think it was his King of Kings.
Yeah. About Zaire and all that. And but there's nobody who crosses, even with all the media. Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, the Kardashians.
Yeah, but those are. By the way, Kelly Clarkson was the biggest star in the world for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and even now, that's what makes for me, especially, I think is so ridiculous about the quote unquote word fame is you have people.
Fleeting.
Yeah, well, you have people and I'm not trashing the Kardashians. Other that they don't do anything. There's nothing. They have
they're famous for doing nothing.
They're
very nice people, by the way.
Wonderful people, I would assume. I've only met Kim once years ago, and I don't know.
I used to babysit for Kim.
That's
Robert.
That's
her
creepy.
father and I were friends, and we'd have card games at the house, and the kids would come out. And
yeah. But
she told me, and I told her that. That's so creepy.
That's what I just said, creepy. But you even have guys for like you said, for all the wrong reasons.
Clapton,
O.J. Simpson. That's
all the wrong reasons.
All the wrong reasons, but very well known. They just released a new mugshot of his. They update the mugshots every few years in Las Vegas. They updated O.J.'s mugshot. It's on TMZ.com.
He's a fat pig now.
He was a fat pig before, but a fat murdering pig. But he is. I don't know. I'm sad. I'm sad that
Jay Leno doesn't come close.
No, Carson, not
Carson destroyed talk show hosts for the rest of the world.
Right. But I think he destroyed talk show hosts in America. I think he was known worldwide, but was he? Not everybody. Ali couldn't walk down the street in any country, in any city, without people knowing who he was.
And we got to go, but there used to be something about being the heavyweight champion of the world. Now, who cares?
I don't even know who it is now.
To be honest with you, neither do I.
I don't give a damn.
I don't care either. But it used to be, if you were the heavyweight champion, he was 3 times or 4 times of the world. You were the deal. But now, who is it?
I don't know. I don't care.
Good radio, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good research.
But
anyway, we got to go.
This week, by the way,
wait,
I'll be at the Hollywood Improv on Saturday night with the wonderful Ben Bailey. Come check it out.
See you next week.